Well, obviously, we're excited to get back. After the off week, it was good to get some time off, get refreshed. We were on the road recruiting, and so it was good to get out and see high school coaches for the first time. Since I've been here, because everything shut down, and so it was great to get out, see the good high school programs, high school coaches, and get a chance to be around, the high school players too. So we're excited for the upcoming week. We're excited for the upcoming game against New Mexico and the challenges that it's going to present. And, excited to get back out on the field today and get going on game preparation.
Thank you, Coach. We'll start with John.
Coach, I think I saw a tweet just like top scoring offenses in the Pac-12, and then I pulled up your offense, and you've scored more points than any team in the Pac-12 in terms of points per game this year. So when you look at what you've accomplished so far, what do you really like about what you've seen from your offense, and where are some areas you still feel like you can get better?
Well, I think the goals. I think first off, anytime you enter a game, the only goal is to win the game, and that's why you play. And then the only goal for an offense, looking at us specifically, is to score touchdowns. Everything's got to add itself up to score touchdowns. And so, I thought we've done a nice job of being able to continue to manufacture the opportunity to score touchdowns. And when we're getting into the plus side of the field, putting the ball in the end zone and not settling for field goals. I really like where we are in terms of being able to control the game, being able, obviously, to run the football multiple ways and be multiple through that, and then being able to disperse the ball to the playmakers. I think the biggest improvement we have to make is now hitting in those intermediate and down the field shots, and that's kind of an emphasis we put on over the last 2 weeks, and we'll continue to emphasize as we continue to build. We talked a lot early last week about keeping our strengths our strengths. As teams start to get a beat on you, we still have to be able to perform to our strengths and to our best players, but then also being able to continue to work on and limit, the improvements and the weaknesses that we have, and we're doing that. And if we focus on our daily improvement, really feel that we can continue to grow in all the areas of winning football offensively.
How do you feel right now about the spot you're at quarterback, just having had the opportunity to play three guys, get meaningful snaps for not just Jordan and Lucas, but obviously Will had some opportunities as well. Did you feel like all three have progressed for you since the season has begun?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And really there's a fourth in there with Jalen,
Yep.
and Jalen's done a nice job too in his roles throughout the course of practice and being prepared and ready to go. But obviously, we've won 4 games with 2 different quarterbacks. It's a credit to our offense. It's a credit to our players. It's a credit to them because of the fact that, things didn't have to change. That was really the goal coming into all this, is that, it's the same offense moving forward. It's just going to be a different quarterback. And so I'm really pleased with where Lucas and Jordan are. I thought Will, is progressing. He's a freshman. And again, we want to make sure that he's in a great position to succeed, not only on the field but off the field. So we're excited moving forward about where we're at that position.
Will you wait on this week's practice to determine who starts for you Saturday? And does it have to do with health at all of Jordan?
Well, it has to do with health, obviously. And like Coach said, I know he said today on the radio, we'll make a determination by Wednesday. We've been gone since Thursday. We left Wednesday night after practice and have been on the road recruiting, and then being off, we haven't even seen him. So today will be our first chance of being able to see everybody back out there. So anxious to see where he was. I thought he looked good Wednesday, and anxious to see now after the course of 4 days where he's at.
How valuable was it for you in the Towson game to see what you saw from your tailbacks other than Greg Bell? I mean, obviously nobody wants Greg Bell to not be available, but when he was not available, can you speak to kind of what the next 3-4 guys were able to accomplish for you?
Well, I think what was it? 70-plus yards out of 4 backs, 280 yards rushing. It's a credit to every one of those players that's in the room, to Jeff Horton and the preparation that each one of those players has coming in, and we have confidence in each and every one of them being able to get them the ball really in any facet of the game to be game breakers and playmakers moving forward. And obviously, this is a game. This is a contact game. It's a very physical game, and it's always the next man up mentality because the expectation is for the position. And I think you've seen that play out at quarterback, and now you've seen it play out at running back. And that's just that's the mentality of Aztec football, and that's the mentality that Coach Hoke brings every day to not only us as a staff but to the players. Is we're going to play, and it doesn't matter who goes in. It's the next man that goes in, and he's expected to do the same thing.
Great. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir, John. Family doing good, by the way?
Yeah, everyone's doing well. Actually, just got back from Palm Springs, so I'm glad I could join you guys.
Great. Hopefully the trip was good.
It was good.
John, we'll go to Kirk.
Kirk, you're not on the course today?
No, not till tomorrow.
Where are you playing at tomorrow?
I haven't decided yet.
I got you.
It'll be a game time decision.
We hit them well.
Question on when guys come back from injuries, what's your guys' philosophy? Does a starter get his job back if he's healthy, or does he have to earn it back, or how does that work on any position in particular, and quarterback specifically?
No, I think you're talking about quarterback specifically. If Jordan is 100% healthy, Jordan will go, and that'll be a decision that ultimately Coach Hoke makes, being the head coach. But he and I will sit down and talk with Pat and with Jordan to assess exactly how healthy he is and where he's at in the recovering process of everything. So it's Coach Hoke's final decision. But I think with what you're asking, if Jordan's 100% healthy, Jordan will go.
Okay. And Coach Hoke, after Greg Bell was injured, thought he would be available for New Mexico. Do you think he's still progressing toward that?
I believe so. He was on Wednesday. Like I said, I haven't seen him since Wednesday night, but I thought he looked good on Wednesday. And, anxious to see him out there today and see how he looks today.
All right. Also wanted to ask you about, with New Mexico playing Air Force last week, how much can you gain from that film, or do you have to watch some other film of New Mexico to really get the most from that?
We watch every clip of every film, so we'll assess everything that's shown on tape. You can get a beat on schemes, you can get a beat on players and things like that. So we'll watch every clip of every game that's available to us, and in fact, even going back to last year, I think I've watched every game on New Mexico.
And so from what you watched against Air Force, what did you glean from that the most that you think would help you this week?
That Air Force is really good offensively at running the football. I mean, to be honest with you, I just
try some triple option maybe this week.
No. That's very exclusive to them and what they do. I think it's when you look at it, I thought New Mexico played really hard. I thought they played tough. I thought they played physical throughout the course of 60 minutes in that game. I thought Air Force, just is a different animal in those regards, which we'll see in 2 weeks. But I was really impressed and have been really impressed with what Coach Long and Coach Gonzalez have done with those players playing for 60 minutes, playing tough, playing hard, playing physical, and schematically, creating the different challenges that they do on every play.
I want to ask about just on the offense. You guys have been so successful with the run, and if you were to say build a lead, and in the second half, as you have a few games this year, you keep running it because it's going to run the clock and control the ball. But how much more difficult does that make it to have your passing offense evolve when you can be so successful running the ball?
Well, I think you look at Townsend in the second half. I thought we threw the ball in the fourth quarter. I thought Lucas's. I really thought where you saw Lucas settle in after Lucas missed Terrell on the deep over. I thought you saw Lucas really settle in throwing the football. And, I think he was 3 for 3 on third downs in his last drive, completing the ball and throwing the ball. And those are things that we got to continue to grow and continue to develop. That goes back to John's question. Okay, we have our strengths now and we have our weaknesses. And now, continue to limit our weaknesses and improve on those. And, like you just said, the importance of being able to throw the football at critical times in the game, that never goes away. And I thought we did well at Townsend once we got that lead, still continuing to throw the football and throw it well and being accurate. That's the biggest thing, is just being accurate throughout the course of the game.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, Kirk.
We'll go to Derek.
Hi, Derek. How are you?
I'm all right, Coach. How are you?
I am doing well, thank you. I like the poster in the background. Jaws is one of my favorite movies.
It is my wife and I favorite movie, both of us. In fact, when I met her, she had the poster already, and I'm like, "Yep, you're probably going to marry me."
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
we actually got to snorkel with one unexpectedly off of La Jolla one day, but that's a story for a different day.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like fun. I can tell you that.
Speaking of fun, going against a guy like Rocky Long, how much can you glean from watching tape in New Mexico versus walking over into the defensive meeting over there and goes, "Hey, y'all, what does Rocky like to do in this particular situation?"
I think everybody's got their differences in how they, prepare and do things like that. I don't think, obviously Coach Hoke and I have talked a lot, not only this week, but since I've been here, just about the defense in general. But, Coach Long is going to bring a different perspective than Coach Hoke or Coach Maddox would bring. And I really just believe that, it's going to be about the players. It's going to be about us playing hard and playing physical for 60 minutes and matching the intensity and the tempo which they play with. So, we're excited about watching our players go play and putting them in positions to be successful.
What does having that number next to your name on the rankings really mean for a program?
Well, I think it's important. I mean, that's why you play, right? You play to win and you play to be the best, and you play to get that national recognition. Now that we've gotten there, the importance is now staying there. And sometimes the hardest part is to stay there. And not allow that to take away from what's gotten you there. And that old saying, you can't forget where you came from. That's what we have to be now. It comes down to our improvement every day in practice, preparing for Saturday. Nothing changes in those regards, and so the importance is very important. But also now the importance is realizing that we have to stay there and continue to perform at a high level in order to stay there and continue to improve. And it's those daily improvements that allow you to do that.
There are 5 non-Power 5 conference schools in the top 25 this week, which is a lot for recent memory. Does that mean that maybe the folks who are voting are starting to pay more attention to the folks who are maybe in the group of 5, or is it simply some of the Power 5 conferences are down, and a lot of guys who are not in there are playing some good football this year?
I think you're asking the wrong guy that question. I don't really have control over any of that stuff, to be honest with you. My focus is on our quarterbacks being able to accurately throw the ball down the field right now, and that's if I start worrying about all that other stuff, then I'm going to take it away from our players, and that's not fair to our program or our quarterbacks. So I think your question is valid. I think you can go a number of different ways, but right now I'm just worried about getting out to practice and our daily improvements.
And speaking of throwing the ball down the field, Haskell had the longest completion of the day, 20 yards late when he completed his first pass. Is that a product of that's kind of just the situation that was happening in the game at that point, since it was kind of out of hand, or are you looking for some of those more explosive plays, and maybe that's the one that kind of opens it up for you?
Well, we're looking for explosive plays all the time. I think back to in the middle of the second quarter, we hit B.J. Busby on a little RPO, and he broke a tackle and went for about 15, 16 yards. Those are the types of plays that continue to break the game open when we can get the ball on the perimeter that way. We had a chance to hit on a couple other ones, and those are the things that we're working on throughout the course of the week. Those are those daily improvements that I'm talking about. Those will come. We have to push through a little bit, and we're just waiting for that moment where we kick the door down and all of a sudden everything just comes together and we're able to play as 11 whole as one for 60 minutes.